Living a happy life is something that most of us strive for, but it's not always easy to achieve. It can take hard work and dedication to make meaningful changes in our lives, and learning to accept some harsh truths is often part of that process. Everyone has a different path to take in life, but there are some common truths that all of us need to accept if we want to reach our goals and be truly content. These truths are often not easy to face, but they can be essential steps on the road to a fulfilled and happy life. In this video, we'll discuss 15 harsh truths you need to accept to find joy and meaning in your life. By accepting these tough truths, you can take the necessary steps to create a life that you will be proud of and that brings you true happiness. 1. Life is not fair. The first and most important harsh truth you need to accept to live a happy life is that life is not fair. Life is full of ups and downs, and you will always find yourself in unfair situations. You will experience unfairness in all aspects of life, at work, in relationships, and even when interacting with other people. Life is unpredictable, and there's nothing you can do to guarantee that everything will go your way. It's important to accept this fact and to understand that you can't control every situation. Instead, focus on developing resilience and learning how to cope with the unfairness of life. 2. You cannot control everything. Many of us have the tendency to think we have control over every single thing that happens in our lives. We think that if we just try hard enough and put in enough effort, we can make whatever outcome that we want reality. But the truth is, there are some things in life that are simply out of our control. You cannot control other people's thoughts, decisions, or actions, and you cannot control external events like natural disasters or economic downturns. Accepting this harsh truth can help you let go of your need for control and start focusing your energy on the things that you can control, yourself and your own thoughts and actions. 3. You will make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Whether it's something small like forgetting to pick up the groceries, or a bigger mistake, such as making a poor decision in your career path, we all have moments of regret. However, understanding and accepting that you will make mistakes is a key part of living a happy life. When we accept that failure is inevitable but also an essential part of growth, we can move forward and learn from our errors. 4. You will face failure. It's hard to accept failure, but it's an inevitable part of life. We all make mistakes, and eventually, we will all experience failure. It's important to remember that failure is not a sign of personal inadequacy, but rather an opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. Don't be afraid to take risks and make mistakes. Doing so will help you to develop resilience, gain experience, and eventually succeed. Remember, it's not the end of the world if you fail, but it is the end if you don't try. 5. You will experience loss. One of the hardest truths to accept in life is that you will experience loss. Whether it's a job, a relationship, a friendship, or a material possession, at some point, you will have to face the fact that something or someone you cared about is no longer yours. This can be devastating and take a long time to recover from, but the sooner you accept this harsh truth, the easier it will be when the time comes. Learning to accept and mourn the loss of something or someone is an important part of the healing process, and it's important to recognize that your life will go on even after the loss. 6. You cannot please everyone. It's a harsh truth that you can't please everyone. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone who disagrees with your decisions and actions. This isn't meant to discourage you, but rather to help you accept that you can't make everyone happy and that it's perfectly okay. Instead of trying to please everyone, focus on being true to yourself and making yourself happy. That's the most important thing, and it's something that you should never compromise. 7. You cannot always get what you want. One of the most difficult truths to accept in life is that you cannot always get what you want. No matter how hard we try, there are times when our dreams and ambitions will not be realized. While it's important to strive for our goals and dreams, it's also necessary to accept that sometimes our plans won't work out. Instead of feeling frustrated and defeated, we must learn to adjust our expectations and be grateful for what we have. Learning to accept the fact that we can't always have what we want is the key to finding peace and contentment. 8. You will grow old and eventually die. One of the most difficult truths to accept is that we all grow old and eventually die. This can be hard to imagine when we are still young, but the fact remains that everyone, no matter how wealthy or powerful, will eventually succumb to the ravages of time. It is important to understand this, so that we may appreciate each moment that we have and not take life for granted. Accepting that death is inevitable can lead to a richer, fuller life, as we become more aware of our mortality and make the most of the time we have. 9. Your life is not perfect. Accepting that your life is not perfect is an important part of living a happy life. Nobody is perfect and no life is perfect either. It's okay to make mistakes and have flaws. No matter how hard you may try, you won't be able to make everything in your life perfect. It's important to be aware of this and accept it. Trying to make your life perfect will only lead to stress, disappointment, and unhappiness. Instead, focus on living in the moment and appreciating what you have. Celebrate the small successes and be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. 10. You are not perfect. Accepting that you are not perfect is one of the most difficult yet empowering truths to acknowledge. It can be a harsh realization, but it's essential for living a truly happy life. Realizing that you don't need to be perfect in order to be content and at peace with yourself can lead to an even greater sense of freedom and contentment. 11. Not everyone will like you. No matter how hard you try to please everyone, it simply isn't possible. As much as you may want everyone to like you and accept you, it's not going to happen. People are unique in their preferences and opinions, and there will be those who don't like what you have to offer. That's okay. Don't take it personally, and don't let it affect your self-worth. Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself and being kind to others. People will appreciate you for it. 12. You will face rejection. One of the toughest realities you need to accept to live a happy and fulfilled life is that you will face rejection. Rejection is an unavoidable part of life, whether it's from a job you applied for, a promotion you were looking to get, a relationship that didn't work out, or even a simple request. Rejection can be painful and it's easy to take it personally, but it's important to remember that it's not always a reflection of your worth. Rejection is a normal part of life and the only way to prevent it is to never take risks or put yourself out there. So, accept that rejection is inevitable and use it as an opportunity to learn, grow and become stronger. 13. You will have to make difficult choices. No matter how hard we try, living a happy life is not always easy. Difficult choices are often necessary in order to create the life that will bring us joy and contentment. We must be willing to put in the effort required for making our lives meaningful. This involves facing uncomfortable facts and situations head-on, even when they are difficult to stomach or process. 14. You cannot avoid pain and suffering. No matter how hard we try, we cannot avoid pain and suffering. In fact, experiencing pain and suffering can be a necessary part of our growth and development. We must learn how to cope with difficult emotions and experiences in order to become our best selves. It can be tempting to try to avoid pain and suffering, but we must remember that they are part of life. It is important to not let pain and suffering consume us. Instead, we must learn to accept them and look for ways to use them to our advantage. 15. You must accept that you can't change the past. One of the most difficult truths to accept is that you can't change the past. Even if you have made mistakes or have regrets, there is nothing you can do to alter what has already happened. This can be difficult to accept, but it's important to remember that you can take what you have learned and use it to make better decisions in the future. It's also important to focus on the present and make the most of what you have. Dwelling on the past will only prevent you from living in the moment and being content with your life. In conclusion, it is essential to come to terms with the harsh realities of life. Accepting that life is not perfect, embracing change, and learning to live with your mistakes are all important steps in finding true happiness. These truths can be difficult to accept, but once you do, you will be able to live a life of greater acceptance and joy. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for future updates.